This is probably the hottest smartphone launch of 2023, the successor to the Nothing Phone 1. This is the Nothing Phone 2, and what an amazing sequel this one is shaping up to be. Hello everyone, I'm here for Fiiber and welcome to my review of the Nothing Phone 2 in this stealthy yet mesmerizing dark grey color, which in my opinion looks quite good first and also does a good job of handling the fingerprint, something that the black color variant of the Phone 1 could not handle very well. Now exactly a year ago, if you guys remember, the Nothing Phone 1 broke cover as this design-led mid-range smartphone from a young startup company led by Kalpe. Now the sequel promises to deliver an even better user experience over the Nothing Phone 1. However, the price of the Nothing Phone 2 has also received a significant bump, which begs me to ask that with all things considered, does the Nothing Phone 2 live up to the hype? Let's find out in this video. So as I said, the Nothing Phone 2 is a design-led smartphone, and when it comes to the looks, the personality, this phone stands head and shoulders above the competition. So quick glance at the rear and you might think this is the Nothing Phone 1. No. Look closely, and this time around the Glyph lights at the back are further separated in comparison to what was there on the Phone 1. For instance, the center G on the Phone 1, which was a single unit, is now 6 different LED zones on the Phone 2. The light around the camera ring has also been broken into 2 parts. Other than this, the rear glass also features these gentle curves along the sides for better grip. Nothing calls this pillowed glass design, and paired with the flat aluminum chassis, yes, the Phone 2 does offer a better grip this time around. Although the phone is still quite slippery, just like the Phone 1, so I would recommend using this phone with a case, but yeah, good luck finding one. Other than this, the phone is slightly taller, is slightly heavier, the button placement is adjusted for better reach, and it works well for me. The optical fingerprint reader is still one of the fastest and most reliable ones you can get on any smartphone. However, I would have preferred its placement a little higher. So all in all, there's one thing that is very clear, that Nothing wants to create a brand identity with their smartphones. They want to create a recall value. So there's nothing quite different on the Phone 2 in comparison to the Phone 1. But with the little refinements, I think so the company has done a good job. I still have 2 suggestions. One is what I earlier said, that the fingerprint sensor, if it would have been placed a little higher, that would have been better, and an IP67 rating at this budget would have been better than the IP54 that's right here on the Nothing Phone 2. Okay, the display on the Nothing Phone 2 has received a significant and a much needed bump. So aesthetically, it is still a flat panel, the bezels are symmetrical and slimmer than before, and the hole punch is now moved to the center, so that is great. So the size of the panel has slightly increased. The Nothing Phone 2 now features a 6.7 inches LTPO OLED display with 10-bit colors and a 120Hz refresh rate. In terms of brightness, typical brightness is 500 nits, auto brightness is 1000 nits, and peak brightness is 1600 nits. And while these are just numbers, the main question is, does the Nothing Phone 2's display offer noticeable improvements over the Phone 1's display? Yes, of course. You see, outdoor brightness was one of the major pain points with the Phone 1's display, but fortunately the brightness issue is kind of fixed with the Phone 2's panel. With auto brightness, the screen is pretty much legible outdoors. Of course, it is still not as bright as say a Galaxy S23 Ultra or an iPhone 14 Pro, but when you compare it with its peer, the competing device where the Nothing Phone 2 operates, it is very much on par with its peers. Now for the display quality, no doubt this is a vibrant panel and I like it. In our proprietary display test, I found the color reproduction of this panel to be on the punchier side, and I quite like it how the display reproduces the reds, greens and blues. In terms of dealing with textures as well as HDR imagery, the display once again does a fairly decent job, so no complaints there as well. Now watching videos and playing games was also a delightful experience, and the audio output is loud and full. In fact, I found the stereo speakers to be louder in comparison to my S23 Ultra, so much so that I actually like the Phone 2's speaker over my S23 Ultras. Listen to this.
करने वाला
For
था.
who?
Projected.
For the whole.
For the platforms.
For the platform, but platform तो इंडिया का ही है ना यार.
Yeah, I mean.
But what was the government के पास क्या आ रहा था?
अच्छा government.
Oh, that way. Okay.
If you are making money, it's good for you, not for the country. And we are not one of those countries where you make मतलब सिर्फ आप कमा लो.
Now one con here is that while the display supports HDR playback, the support itself is not there on Netflix. So that is something that nothing needs to sort out with Netflix or vice versa. But otherwise, it's a great display panel, and I think if you're a multimedia enthusiast, you are going to have a great time on the Nothing Phone 2. Now the Nothing Phone 2 offered superb overall performance, and most of this performance, should also be attributed to the software experience. So let's talk about it. So hardware wise, first of all, there's Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 chipset under the hood. There's up to 12GB LPDDR5 RAM, up to 512GB UFS 3.1 storage, and taking care of the software, there is Nothing OS 2.0 atop Android 13. So pep talk aside, the top tier hardware that you're getting here and the clean software that you're getting, they work in tandem to deliver a superb user experience. For instance, the attention to detail. You double tap on any area on the screen and the screen lock animation closes in that particular area where you tap. Lock screen widgets are the newest additions, and being able to add toggles such as Wi-Fi or dim the display toggle or anything like that is pretty cool. Now the icon pack resonates with the brand's monochrome theme, and this is something that we recently received with one of the latest updates for the phone 2. Then there are new folder designs, or if you don't like that, you can set an icon for the folders, and the animations, the transitions are slick and buttery smooth. Then comes the glyphs, and while it is still kind of a gimmick, the lights on the back I'm talking about, it is evident that Nothing is trying its best to add meaning to it. For instance, you can now set the glyph brightness. So there are 3 levels, or there's auto brightness, you set it and that is there. Now glyph timer and volume controls are the newest additions here, and I see these two features as the most used one for whosoever buys this smartphone. Other than this, glyph progress is also there, something that Nothing has been talking about. Now Uber integration is already there. So Matos integration, as there was a lot of talk about it, is not here yet. Now glyph progress, I think this is a great idea. This is a great integration. Now Nothing from this point needs to work with more developers so that more apps can get on board and take advantage of the glyph progress meter. But now I think so this is a great start. Finally, for the music enthusiast in you, there's the Glyph Composer, and as the name suggests, make your own ringtone, save it, set it, and you are good to go. Here's a quick demo. So overall, when it comes to the software experience, with all the optimizations, with all the refinements, I think so Nothing OS 2.0 is a step in the right direction when it comes to the phone's software experience. And the good part is that Nothing is also promising 3 years of Android OS upgrades plus 4 years of security patch updates. So that is great as well. Now when it comes to the performance, I faced no complaints whatsoever, no glitches, no bugs. In fact, the overall user experience is so smooth that using the Nothing Phone 2 has been a delight. So general performance, including basic tasks such as calling, texting, browsing, etc. is handled with ease. App opening times, switching between apps is lightning fast with smooth animations. In fact, OnePlus 11R, a phone which has almost the same hardware and features as the Nothing Phone 2, I did a battery and performance test comparing both the phones, and I was surprised with the results. In Antutu, Nothing Phone 2 scored significantly higher than the OnePlus 11R. As for the Geekbench 6, the Phone 2's score was not only higher but more on par with Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 powered smartphones. And these superb benchmark numbers, also translate in the real world performance. So when it comes to playing games such as Asphalt 9 and Call of Duty Mobile, it was good to see that for the most part, the Nothing Phone 2 delivers a smooth gaming experience with a rare frame drop here and there or a stutter here or there. My only gripe is that over prolonged sessions, since this phone has a glass back, The phone too does get slightly warm to the touch around the camera region, but again, nothing alarming of sorts. And battery performance, guys, that has been great. I mean, for a 4700 mAh battery, the Nothing Phone 2 defeated the OnePlus 11R in our battery test video, and mind you, the 11R has a 5000 mAh battery. For perspective, 2 hours of video recording on the Nothing Phone 2 drained about 9% battery in my testing, while an hour of gaming drained about 14% battery. So endurance wise, the Nothing Phone 2 holds up well because the overall optimization is quite good here. And even when it comes to the charging, well, there's a 15 watt wireless charging support and a 45 watt wired charging support, the one that I tested. And first of all, it is not the fastest around, but it gets the job done. I think so. Decent charging speeds. So say a 0 to 100% charge takes about 50 to 55 minutes, and I think so it is pretty decent, as I said. The Nothing Phone 2 features a straightforward camera setup, 2 lenses at the back, a 50 megapixel primary camera. This is the IMX890 sensor. This is paired with a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, the same as the Nothing Phone 1. Now the front receives an upgrade and now sports a 32 megapixel IMX615 selfie snapper. By the way, you can also use the Glyph lights as a flash or a fill light while taking a photo or video, so that is there. So on to the picture quality. This photo was taken in broad daylight, and I will say, given good light, the Nothing Phone 2 produces some crisp looking photos with just the right amount of contrast. Be it the reds, greens or the sky, as you can see, everything is properly exposed, the dynamic range is on point, and even upon zooming in, the darker areas are exposed pretty naturally in the tree. Similarly, one other shot taken from the main camera of this phone, this is a close-up shot, and look at how beautifully the flower is separated from the background. There's a shallow depth of field. Mind you, this is not a portrait shot, and also the textures of the flower look so detailed, and overall, again, a very good photo. And so for the most part, the primary camera of the Nothing Phone 2 churns out great images with plenty of details and just the right amount of colors. Also, let me tell you, our unit has also received the recent camera update, the camera software update. So all in all, the primary camera fares pretty well. The problem actually lies with the ultra wide angle camera of the smartphone. That sensor leaves a lot to be desired. Just see for yourselves. So this is a decent photo taken from the primary camera, details, colors or the dynamic range on point, but the same scene taken from the ultra wide angle lens and the color shift is quite evident. I mean, white balance goes for a toss, the scene looks warm, corner details are soft, and overall not the kind of disparity you would expect between a primary and a secondary shooter. But moving on, otherwise night photos are quite decent. I would say the phone 2 tries to keep things as natural as the human eye sees, and for the most part, if you prefer natural looking shots, the phone 2 delivers. However, slight improvements can be done when it comes to exposing the brighter areas. For example, the harsh light caused ghosting around, so that needs a bit of tuning, but otherwise, if there's good enough artificial light around, the phone 2 churns out decent looking night photos. Finally, the selfies shot from the Nothing Phone 2 look quite impressive. General selfies are bang on. Portrait selfies do brighten up the skin tone a bit, but not that much. Overall, the selfies look nice, edge separation is good in portrait shots, and whether you take selfies at day or night, the phone 2 delivers on this front.
So right now I'm shooting from the Nothing Phone 2. This is the 4K 60 FPS sample. Yes, the phone can shoot up to 4K 60 FPS videos, and this is the kind of quality that you can expect. So in terms of stabilization, the phone does a pretty good job. Even in terms of panning also, I'll just quickly do a quick pan, and you can see there are no jitters or focus hunting issues. So that is great. HDR performance is also quite good. As you can see, the sky is well exposed. The greens look quite vibrant. And in terms of video recording, I think so the phone does a very good job. What do you think about the stabilization, the overall video quality, and how does my audio sound? Let me know in the comments. And next up is the selfie video. Now from the front, you can only shoot up to 1080p 60 fps videos, and yes, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 does support 4K recording from the front, but sadly the feature is not there in the Nothing Phone 2. I think they should have included it for folks who want 4K videos from the front camera. But yeah, this is the kind of quality that you get with 1080p recording. Stabilization is good. HDR performance could have been slightly better, I believe, but in terms of the general performance, general overall video quality from the front camera, I think so Nothing Phone 2 does a pretty decent job. The field of view could have been wider, that would have been better, but yeah, overall I think so. The quality is great, stabilization is good. How does my audio sound? Let me know everything in the comments, and next up is the final verdict.
The Nothing Phone 2 is a well-packaged smartphone, and there is no doubt that it is a worthy successor to the Nothing Phone 1. However, as I mentioned the pricing bit at the start, I said that the company is being quite overambitious with the pricing. You see, when the Phone 1 launched, the price for the kind of hardware and features you were getting on the Phone 1, the pricing was quite high, but nothing, never really compromised on the pricing of the Phone 1. And nor was I expecting the company to compromise on the pricing of the Phone 2. So with everything considered, with everything said, does the Nothing Phone 2 deliver through and through? I mean, for almost the same kind of specs and features, the OnePlus 11R actually sells cheaper. But if you ask me, I think if you decide to go with the Nothing Phone 2 for the extra cash that you are putting in, what you get here is probably the cleanest and snappiest Android experiences on this budget. A software experience that has character, and a phone which second generation down the line still looks like $1,000,000 and is very different from the sea of available options in the market. And finally, I would say that if you're really interested in buying the Nothing Phone 2, I would say skip the base variant, the one with the 8GB and 128GB storage, and also skip the top tier variant, the 12 plus 512GB storage. I would say go for the mid variant, the one priced at 49,999 rupees. That makes the most sense. And if you have the right bank card and offer, you can also grab the phone for about 47,000 rupees. And Nothing Phone 2 at a price of 47,000 rupees with 12GB RAM and 256GB storage makes a lot of sense. Fiiber rates the Nothing Phone 2 a solid 8 out of 10. But yes guys, let me know your thoughts about the Nothing Phone 2 and what are your thoughts about the pricing of this phone. Everything in the comments below, and as always, for all the latest in tech, stay tuned to Fiiber. I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.